So I am currently standing in the main area of 19 on Green, and this is where a lot of our exhibitors will be holding their stalls. So I just want to show you around quickly. So as you can see behind me, we have a beautiful, beautiful, fully functioning kitchen. And where is it? There it is, all big fancy fridge there. Let me just turn the camera around and show you this absolutely gorgeous area. So as I said, this is where we will be having a lot of our exhibitors showcase their goods and their services, and then we can even come out the door here. Here we go, and we have also this gorgeous outdoor area where people will be able to hang out, they'll be able to enjoy their cuppas. Depending on how many exhibitors we have, we can overflow and put some of them out here as well. So very, very exciting. Absolutely a picturesque spot here at 19 on Green. This room is called the Gasworks, and as we walk in here, this is a beautiful smaller room, and what we're going to do in here is this is where we are going to have our wardrobe giveaway. We've got some incredible clothing that we are going to offer our survivors. You'll be able to pick out an outfit so that if you are in need of an outfit for, say, a court date or a job interview or something, this is going to all have the clothing displayed in this room. This here is the industry room. Now in this room, we will most likely be putting our beautiful service providers who are doing things such as maybe haircuts and hairdos and makeup and things like that. It's a bit of a bigger room. It's, as you can see, fully functioning. It's just, we've got the screen on there. I don't know if we're going to use it or not. Beautiful, beautiful big room. This room is the brickyard. Now, as we walk in here, this is another quite a large space, and what we're going to do with this room is we are going to hold our services which maybe require a little bit of more a quiet space. So maybe the massages and the Reiki. So it's just a beautiful, it's a simple little room. It's got the air conditioner there, beautiful.
Hello everybody, I hope all finds you well. We've got gremlins in the system today, and it's because it's nice and chilly here in Adelaide and it's freezing in Tasmania. Hello girls. Hello girls. We are here, we are chilly. Just so you know, we've got our boots and socks on. Just to keep ourselves warm. Some of us have heaters underneath our desk, and we all have something warm to keep us warm. Welcome to our lunchtime show, Healing Through Love. It's so good to see you here. We are here every Tuesday. So we're here at lunchtime every Tuesday, and we're here to help increase awareness in the community about family and domestic violence and a soft place to land for survivors.
And we're here to offer advice on services available to these survivors and their families. And as well as this show, we hold an annual Pamper Day, and this is for survivors in South Australia and soon to be in Tasmania, where local businesses pay it forward to give our survivors a much-deserved day of joy and enlightenment and just a bit of pampering.
Absolutely. And each week on this show as well, we interview wonderful experts and survivors who share their personal stories and their advice as well with those who have experienced abuse, no matter where you are on your journey. And as you just said, Rose, we have an annual Pamper Day coming up this year. It's very exciting. It's coming up in, I think I worked out, it's only about 4 weeks away. Wow. Oh no, right? So it is at 19 on Green at Brompton, and it is on Saturday, May the 22nd. And we're going to tell you more about that later. But I'm going to hand it over to Charlene now.
Thanks, Ali. Thanks, Rose. The girls are going to do things behind the scenes that make it all work. It takes the three of us to pull this amazing show off. So our beautiful guest today is Joanne Webb. Joanne is a self-love coach, a podcast host, and the founder of Impact Mental Health, and co-author of Hate Myself, Hate My Life, a teenage guide to finding self-confidence and inner love. So Jo bravely turned her life around 3 years ago when she found the courage to leave her second husband, the man who vowed to love her but instead abused her emotionally and psychologically. Jo knows firsthand about the lasting effects of living with a narcissist and how the abuse changes a person on a soul level. Joanne talks openly about receiving all types of abuse, finding self-love, self-worth, and inner peace in the most unlikely circumstances, and living life after a toxic relationship. Jo believes self-love and forgiveness are the tools for moving forward. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
All the better for chatting with you.
It's so lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege.
Oh, it's always Joanne. I've been on your podcast. So I love spending quality time with you. It is such a privilege. So tell us a little bit about your business. What does it look like?
Well, at the minute, as you say, we've got the podcast, which is Pods with Posh and Pool, and that's all about sharing stories of inspiration that nobody has a perfect life, and how do we live life with a heart filled with love and gratitude. And, people like yourself, Charlene, have been on who have got really big stories. They faced the worst adversity, the worst suffering, but they're there living life still. And what does it take to live that life? And that's really why we put the podcast out there, because there's so many people out there struggling with mental health issues and everyday struggles. So everybody just needs that little bit of inspiration, that little bit of hope in their heart. And then we've also, Sue and I have co-authored a book, like you said, Hate Myself, Hate My Life, a teenage guide to finding self-confidence and inner love, because we are in the grips of a mental health crisis, whether we like it or not, and our teenagers are struggling. But it's not just our teens, it's everybody from young people right through to old. But we do have a passion for beautiful teenagers, and we want to help as many as we can. And we've got a company called Impact Mental Health, and the ACT stands for Awareness, Communication and Transformation. And we are out there doing talks to parents, doing talks to teenagers and educators and anybody really about resilience-based education, showing people that actually the human spirit is so tough. We are so resilient, yet also though resilience can be learned. And, trying to show parents how it's not great to helicopter parent. We've got to let our children make mistakes, but we've got to allow them to make mistakes in a safe environment where they are loved unconditionally. And our main thing is about helping people heal, because we've all been through trauma, we've all faced suffering, and we've all faced pain. Yet we're not really taught how to heal and how to grieve. So we go through with people. And so they don't bring unhealthy habits into their new relationships and into their life in general. That's where addictions and any form of unhealthy habits comes from, really, is just having a lack of self-love and a lack of healing from our past.
So true. And I love the fact that you really spend quality time talking about, it's not perfect. And I think in this day and age where we've got Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, from their side looking in, it looks like we put the best of the best of the best up there. And that's not what is happening behind the scenes. And I love the fact that your podcast rips open that layer and has a look at the mucky stuff inside to say, hey, we're human. We live in the human condition and this is what's happening. And I love that, because it just gives us all that, what's happening to them too, and just makes it so much more authentic. And I love that you speak in the wellness space. Did you know, Joanne, that wellness is the top subject for speakers globally?
I know. I mean, it's such a huge topic, and we can talk about wellness from the likes of health and fitness, food and nutrition all the way through to mental health, but actually they all come under the same thing, and each are as equally as important as each other, aren't they? And wellness is, I'm glad people are talking about it more. Yeah, people need to talk about it even more than what they do, because yes, it's not, there's still stigmas around certain mental health issues. There's certain stigmas that people, and old-fashioned beliefs, that we shouldn't talk and we shouldn't be open and honest and we shouldn't be vulnerable. Let's all be vulnerable. Let's get it out there, because we're not supposed to do this life alone. We've got to work as a team, all of us, and help each other and lift each other up. And when we're down, get somebody else to lift us up. There's people out there who want to help.
It's so, so true. I love everything that you do. And it's so important to speak to these children early in the piece, because that's where the damage is done. After the age of 7, we need to help them so that they can be in an environment, and that resilience, they're going to need it. It's not all fluff and bubbles. And I think that we parented children a specific way, people of my generation and a little bit younger, and we loved on them, lived differently because we were loved on differently. And I think that we created an entire generation of children that need resilience so much more than we did. We grew up a little bit more on the school of hard knocks, and that generation in between, we loved on them, and we softened them up a little bit. And resilience is something that we need to really get together and show them how they can have everything in their life, and how they can do it with grace, and it's okay. So not taking offense, not taking things personally, not judging others, and not comparing, and showing themselves compassion and love. I absolutely love everything that you guys do. So how did you two meet and get to work together? Like, that's a story in itself.
Okay, well, we both live in the same leafy suburb in Auckland, and we have both lived in the same place for 10 years, and we were both doing similar work, really. Sue's got a company called Teenage Toolbox. I had a company called The Happiness Hustler. She was mainly working with parents, and I thought I'd be working with parents, but then I ended up working with teenagers. So we're both out there doing very similar work, coaching, mentoring, just really getting to the nitty gritty of, helping people with healthy boundaries, relationships, communication, healing, getting rid of shame, addressing guilt, all the things, that bring us down, really. Somebody said, you should really meet Sue. She's doing a similar job to you. And then I went to a free event over in Auckland City with Sam Cawthorne from the Speakers Institute. And I'd wanted to see Sam for a while. And I was really busy, and I ended up having to get there late, which I hate doing, but I thought I'm still determined to go. So I got there, and there was 3 seats available, and somebody pointed out 3 seats, and I went to the one near the front. So I just scuttled in and sat down. And who should I be sitting next to but the lovely Sue? And I was like, "Hi, you're Sue." And she was a bit like, "Who are you, you weirdo?" Anyway, and the rest is kind of history. Then we went, that was in the February 2 years ago. And then in the May, we both travelled over to Sydney to do the Speakers Institute course with Sam. And that kind of cemented our friendship. And she couldn't get rid of me after that. We got back and I said, "Hey, do you fancy doing a podcast?" Because even though we both bring very different strategies and strengths to the mix, we both very much complement each other as well. We're chalk and cheese. That's why we're called Pods with Posh and Pool. I'm from Liverpool. She's from down south of England. She speaks with a much posher accent than me. But, we're like an unlikely duo, but we just work. It's great. We complement each other.
It is lovely. It's a beautiful indication of how powerful we can be when we've got that collaboration, and together we are more. Yeah. And it would be great to see other people that are entrepreneurs and working diligently to move forward, that they link arms with others that are doing the same, because that's how we create the success and the dynamism, when we work together for the same cause. Just much the same as Rose and Ali and myself are. We're all very passionate about making a difference in this area. So we work together. Individually, this is not something we could do, but as a group, we're dynamic. So I absolutely love it. Yeah. So our listeners really love to hear tools and techniques about how they can strive and thrive and move forward. And you talk all in this area. Now we've got, some kids, but predominantly women will be listening. Could you share with us some, handy hints and techniques so that we can look at that self-compassion and move forward?
I think one of the biggest things we need to really work on is the words we use. And words are so important. It's like, you know, we can say, and we were talking before about teaching our children resilience, or anybody resilience. When we fail at something, people say, I'm a failure. No, you're not a failure. You may have failed. That failed. You are not a failure. And so I think the very first thing I always talk to people about is the words we use, because we can be our own worst enemy. And I say to people, would you like, if you had a choice, would you like to hang out with your best friend who you love and who lifts your spirits and is so lovely? Or would you like to hang out with that bully that's in the playground that we were all scared of? Who do you want to hang out with the most? Well, most people would say their best friend, yet most people are hanging out with the bully in their head. And it's really empowering to know that you are in control of those words that we speak up here to ourselves. And there's no nicer thing than to put your hand on your own heart and to feel that warmth and to understand that you are pure love and you are pure worth for nothing other than being you. Your job does not give you worth. Being a mother, being a sister, being a father, being a brother, being a postman, being a fireman, they're all great things. They're all great hats to wear. But you are worthy just for being you. You don't have to prove that ever. And it's tiring to prove it. So don't bother anymore. Get rid of all of that nonsense. But put your hand on your heart and say nice things to yourself. You know, the very first thing I teach people is to wake up every morning, and the first thing to say to yourself before you go, oh, I'm tired, or I didn't sleep very well, or oh, it's Monday, or oh, it's Friday. No, put your hand on your heart and say, I am worthy. I am enough. I love you. And them words are so powerful. And if we can continue to say those things to ourselves, we start to believe it. And we are all of those things, but we've been saying nasty things to ourselves for however many years you may have been programmed. We have to reprogram the brain. So be careful of the words you use. And when you do put yourself down, try to turn it around. You know, oh, I'm rubbish at that. Oh, actually, I'm not that great at that at the minute, but I'm going to keep trying and get better. There's a better way to say things. But then when you do put yourself down, don't dish yourself for it. Go, okay, made a mistake. I'm not going to do that again next time.
Yeah, exactly. So showing ourselves that self-compassion starts with using language. And it's great to start the day with that. You know, when you start high, you stay high, and it makes all the difference. So now, how do people work with you? How do people work with you, Joanne?
Well, I've got a couple of websites, but the main one really, I think people, if they want to contact us, you contact us through, well, you can email me on impactmentalhealthtoday@gmail.com, and our website is impact-mentalhealth.com. So you can find both Sue and I there, and we work tirelessly with people. We work via Zoom or face-to-face, and we've got some workshops coming up as well soon. So yeah, and you can, and also we're available on Facebook on either Impact Mental Health or Pods with Posh and Pool. So we're always doing lives on Facebook. We're always sharing bits of information if people want to join us for our Friday lives and just come and join us and say hi. It's always nice to connect and see people.
It is so true. Now, ladies that are listening today that are themselves, you know, either in a current situation that's not supportive or they're recovering, you know, they want to know, what was that defining moment for you? What was the thing that, you know, the sliding doors, the things that turn things around so that you could move through that and become the person that you are right now?
Do you mean like what was the thing that got me out of the relationship or start? Yeah, okay. Well, I think, as I just said, we are very good at using certain words on ourselves. And really, when you're saying mean things to yourself, you're actually abusing yourself. And so what happened, my second husband, he was a true narcissist. So he bombed me at the beginning. You know, I was the most beautiful thing in the world. I was amazing. He got all that little bit of information out of me, all my insecurities, all about the past. And of course, over time, tore me apart limb from limb. And I was on a pedestal and he kicked me off it over and over again. And, you know, I tried to crawl back up on that pedestal, and each time the pedestal was a little bit lower. And basically one day he just abused me more than I abused myself. He started saying things which I didn't believe. So, you know, he could he could be mean about me and change the goalposts as much as he wanted. And I was walking on eggshells and trying to be small. And I'm not really a very small character, to be honest with you. It was quite hard. But, you know, you're always trying to achieve things which are unachievable because they change the goalposts all the time. And he started to say things like, you know, because I'm a personal trainer as well. And he started saying things like, who the hell do you think you are being a personal trainer? Nobody's going to listen to you. You're crap at it. And it was really bizarre because I thought, actually, that's not true. I know I'm really good at that. And then he started to be nasty about the things I did. And I thought, actually, do you know what? I've got a kind heart. I know I'm a good person. He was destroying how I looked, how I was as a mother. And I obviously had insecurities around them things. So I wasn't too sure if it was true what he was saying there. But when it flipped over and when he abused me so bad one night and he spat in my face 3 times. And I had been hit, I'd had my ribs broken, there'd been so much psychological abuse and emotional abuse. And I actually, at some point, I wanted him just to punch me so I could just be knocked out because I didn't want to hear the words anymore. But after this one night, he spat in my face 3 times and it was disgusting. And he berated me for 3 hours about something which I hadn't done. And I had to get a knife and I had to hold it to my arm and threaten to kill myself before he left me alone. And he went off in a drunken stupor, and within 20 minutes I could hear him snoring. And I sat on the sofa with my key and my phone in my hand, which I carried around with me for 6 months. And I thought, I'm actually a really nice person. I've got a good heart. I do nice things for people. And I said there and then, I said, Joanne, you've got a choice. You can either live or die. And even if that's metaphorically speaking, whichever one it was, you can either live or die. But I actually thought he was going to kill me. And I thought, you can't be nasty to yourself anymore. You need to love yourself. And I vowed there and then, it was like a switch. I literally clicked the switch and I thought, I'm going to start loving myself. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I was in despair. But I did. I stopped being mean to myself there. And don't get me wrong, I'm human. So them nasty little words sometimes come in, but I'd turn them around. And then I read everything I could on self-love. I was listening to podcasts all the time. I was listening to TED Talks. I'd be in the car on the way from dropping the children off at school. I'd be absorbing all of this stuff and everything was resonating with me so much. And I was getting stronger and stronger. And then what I did, I went and knocked on the door of a place called North Harbour Living Without Violence because I needed to be accountable to somebody. I needed somebody to tell me that what I was living through wasn't right. So I went and found an expert, and they obviously knew I was desperate because they had no appointments, but they didn't chuck me out on the street there and then. A counsellor came in and she's seen me for 5 minutes. And she said, okay, no, it's not right what you're going through. And yes, you do need to leave, but you can't tell them you're leaving because it's going to get really dangerous. And then anyway, then I went to see her once a week for the next 2 months while I made a plan to get away. But within that time, I was really working on myself, working on my self-esteem, and really just building up the strength to get out of that relationship.
Yeah. It's how it is, isn't it? And it's great that you reached out and got that help and you had that realization that they had the answers that you were looking for. It's also really smart that you took time and placed it so that you were ready to go and so that it wouldn't have been a failed attempt to leave. So this is all really important information to share, that yes, we can make the decision to go. There's other factors at play. So we need to have time and measure to get this to happen. So very smart, and obviously you got the assistance that you needed to help you through the process. So wow, we need more of that. We need more people out there that have got doors open for people to listen to, more people that are answering the phones. So that we can help more people get out of this situation. Yeah.
The thing I'd say as well, because, you know, obviously you want to talk to your friends about things like this, but I think sometimes friends will get fed up of you because you don't leave. And they just think it's so easy to leave. So the thing I just say to people, the advice I give to anybody when I do talks like this as well, is if you've got a friend who is in an abusive relationship, please don't ever turn your back on them. I know you may need to have healthy boundaries when you can see them, because it does sink into your, you know, sinks into your soul and you just want to really help them. But don't ever turn your back on them, because they will leave when they can. but sometimes they just can't at the time. There's so many different factors. You know, I've got 4 children. None of them are to my second husband, but I still had 4 children, you know, that I had to think about, and I was leaving another blended family and financial, and often it's the financial thing. But again, I truly believe we are capable of anything, and having that self-belief and building your self-confidence up to know, because they've torn it apart, they've ripped it into shreds as much as they possibly could, but this is where that inner grit comes in. You know, look at what the human spirit can endure. We can do anything, and once you actually get out, it's really hard, because they do try and get back in your life, and mine's still attacking me now 3 years later.
Yeah.
But we are capable of doing anything. You know, I left and I got 5 different jobs, and I was trying to make ends meet, and I just showered my children with love, and I built a safe little place for us, and I thought it was going to take forever for my children to feel secure. And you know what, the 5 of us have got such a bond that it didn't take that long. They just needed to feel, they just needed to be able to breathe. And I really feel like I'm a better role model for them, and I should never have put them in that situation. I really wish I'd known better at the time, but I was living with life from the toolbox I had at the time, so I've forgiven myself for that.
Excellent. I love it, Joanne. You know, I could just talk to you for hours. We do love to chat. Joanne, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story. So such a personal and vulnerable experience, and how you've transitioned from that area to now being the expert authority in this and making a difference for teenagers, working together with Sue and with your podcast and everything you do. Thank you so much. We're going to pop up in the chat all of the links so that people can actually reach out to you. Thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a privilege, a joy, and a pleasure chatting with you. Bye for now, Joanne.
Thank you for all you do.
Bye, Joanne. I'd like to welcome back to the stage our beautiful comrades. Hi, Rose. Hi,
Hello. Hello.
And Ali's just going to share with you a little bit more about our event coming up. We're very, very excited. And I'd love you, Ali, to have a chat from the perspective of the venue, because they want to know about the venue.
The venue is amazing, people. It is being held at 19 on Green, and so this is 19 Green Street, Brompton. It is a newly renovated community centre. It is fantastic. I'll tell you, there is space for everything. So we've got a lot of different exhibitors coming in. We've got people who are going to do Reiki. We've got chakra balancing, access bars, tarot readings, hairstyling, facials, makeup, all kinds of things are happening. We've even got a clothing store, which is being held as well. So where we're going to give away outfits for ladies who might need things for, you know, like going for job interviews or court appearances or something like that. So the venue, it has a lot of parking on street, and it's very, very close to public transport, which is very important as well. So I can't speak highly enough about it, ladies, I'll tell you.
I love it. Thanks, Ali, for the share. Rose, we'd just love you to have a conversation in and around people that might like to attend the event. So, you know, who would like to attend the event, Rose?
Well, the event is primarily obviously for domestic and family violence survivors. I just need to make attendees aware that there may be men in attendance, because we do have a photographer coming who's going to be displaying his work, and so yeah, just be mindful of that. However, it is a totally safe environment, so you know, there's no need to be fearful of anything happening to you whilst you're there. I guess the thing that we just both, all of us want you to know that, yeah, it is really, really safe. Children are very welcome to attend. We're making it into a child-friendly area. We do have some people that will be childminding, but not on a full-time basis. You know, you can't just dump and run and leave your kids in there. So you have to, you know, be mindful that you can go and have a treatment and then, you know, come back and collect your children. But that's a really great thing, and we've offered that every single year, because we think that, you know, sometimes it's Mums just don't like to leave their children at home or in the care of somebody else because they're fearful, of something happening to that child, and then they can't fully appreciate the day. So
it is so true. So this is an opportunity if you've been through challenges yourself, just like myself, just like Ali, just like Rose and Joanne, and pretty much everyone that comes onto our show has been touched by family or domestic violence. If that's you and you're currently going through it, or even if it's been some time ago, we want to honour your spirit and give you that love and pampering and help you enjoy the experience with us. So, and also, if you've got a friend or a member of the family that's in that situation, we'd love it if you'd share the link so they can register to come. It is free for them to attend, so there's not very many chances in Australia that you can turn up to an event like this and get totally loved on, and it'll be for free. So we're really looking forward to sharing the opportunity with you. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We will be back next Tuesday, same time, to share another beautiful story of healing through love and how you can take your life to the next level. Guys, another great day.
And remember, be more than a survivor, be a thriver.
Woo! See you later, beautiful people.